Hi, thank you for joining me here at the Forest of Arden once again. My name is Chris Ryan. Today, a video you really need to watch because I'm going to show you 3 moves that you can do in your golf swing to help you hit it a little bit further from the tee. Welcome back to the Forest of Arden. This is the par 5 17th. And in this video, I'm going to show you a few things that you can do out on the course if you need to add maybe 15 or 20 yards to your drive. Now, the things that we go through in this video are not going to help you hit more fairways. So if you're a golfer out there struggling to find the short stuff, this video might not be for you because, as you can probably imagine, distance and accuracy don't necessarily go together, in that if we're trying to add distance, it's not necessarily going to make you straighter. But I really like my players to have or work towards having 3 tee shot options. One is your standard tee shot, one is your fairway finder, which might be 15 to 20 yards shorter but more consistent, and then one like this, which is maybe going to give you another 10 or 15 yards but isn't maybe quite as accurate. This is a par 5 round the corner, so this is a perfect opportunity to try and add 15 yards, because if I do miss the fairway, I can chip out and I can still get onto this green in 3. So in summary, what we're going to talk about in this video is we're going to talk about the amount of rotation that you have in your golf swing. We're going to talk about the amount of extension you have in your body, and we're going to talk about how you shift your pressure. 3 things which are very, very key to adding speed in the club head, which will in turn add yards to the drive. So we need to make sure we're making a big turn in the backswing. Now, a big turn in the backswing is going to mean turning your knees, turning your hips, turning your shoulders. Under turning, so making not enough turn, not horrendous for accuracy, but it's not great for distance. So the first thing you're going to try and do is you're going to unweight your lead heel. What do we mean by that? Well, as you can imagine, when I take my setup, give or take, I'm going to be about 50-50 in terms of my weight distribution. When I make a backswing with very little turn, I probably don't really feel as much difference in my legs there. The more I can start to rotate my hips, my knees, my shoulders, I will probably start to get some pressure moving into my trail side. This is exactly what we want. The more pressure that moves into my trail side, the lighter my lead side becomes. So I want you to feel as if when you're making your backswing, you're making a big enough turn that you could, if you wanted, lift your lead heel. Now, you don't have to lift your lead heel, but there are fantastic examples of golfers who do that. Justin Rose is a golfer who in recent times has actually moved towards a more of a lift heel model, which I believe is more to do with injury prevention for him, but it shows you that he's building pressure under his trail side. So as we move towards the end of our backswing, allowing this lead heel to rise a little or unweighting it so that it could lift a little is really going to tell me as the coach there's 2 things happening. 1, you've got a good amount of turn, and 2, that the pressure is built under your trail side. You can imagine if I'm that golfer who starts to maybe turn like this, I'm loading more onto this side, very, very difficult to lift my heel now. So the first thing you're going to try and do in your golf swing is be in a position at the top where you could lift your trail heel. Like I said, you don't have to lift it, but we want you to be in a position where you could lift it. And not a problem to make practice swings where we feel that happening. So I felt at the top of my golf swing that I just lifted my trail, my lead heel a little bit. There's our first point. That's going to do 2 things. It's going to work on pressure and it's going to work on rotation. Now, the second thing we want you to do here is look at how you move your upper body in terms of what we call flexion and extension. If you can imagine, if I stood in my normal posture, think about where the buttons on my shirt would point. They'd be pretty much out horizontally in front of me. When I take a setup, I move more towards a flexed forward position. My buttons, therefore, point more down towards the ground. This is what we call forward bend. Now, if I make a backswing and I maintain my forward bend, my buttons will continue to point down towards the ground. Now, you probably, hopefully, already recognise that doesn't look like a particularly good backswing. What we would like to do in the backswing is take these buttons from a position where they're pointing down towards the ground to one where they're pointing at least horizontal, but possibly even towards the sky if you're looking to really add some yards to your drive. Take a look at these phenomenal athletes, these long drive golfers. What you'll see is at the top of the golf swing, you're going to see plenty of extension. Extension is this movement. You can see how that gets my buttons pointing way up towards the sky. Again, it's not necessarily going to be a fantastic move to help you hit more fairways, but it's great for distance. It's great for adding a little bit more travel in the hands, a little bit more width in the backswing, and helping you generate some more speed. So once you're moving your pressure onto your trail side, you're going to get the buttons on your shirt to point more up towards the sky. This is extension. The longest hitters will have generally more extension than the short hitters. Exceptions will obviously be out there. So you're pressure shifting, you're extending. We now can think about something that we can do in the downswing. We're going to talk about pressure again, and pressure being the amount of force that you're putting through the ground. You're only connected to the ground with your feet, so it's talking about how you position your feet and how you affect pressure through your feet. What we know is that the longest hitters by left arm parallel on the way down will generally have the most amount of pressure under their lead side. So that's their left side for a right-handed golfer. So we've got a pressure shift in the backswing. We've got an extension. You need to then feel that by lead arm parallel, you've got some force under that lead leg. That force is absolutely key because it's that force, that pressure building that's going to allow you to put the speed out into the golf club when we get to impact. I'm not going to talk about impact in this video, but we need to be in a position where that pressure is loaded under that lead side by halfway down. So, as you can imagine, my golf club with the driver is going to be travelling at a much higher speed than it is with all my other clubs. Therefore, it's difficult to try and tick off these three things that you're going to try and do. So certainly don't try and take this to the course straight away. This needs to be practiced at the range. It needs to be honed at the range. It needs to be you need to hit shots at the range to see what happens when you do this. Does it change your ball flight? Does it give you those extra yards? You know, if you could get yourself on a track mount or launch monitor to see what extra yards you get, that's fantastic. But if we can get a better pressure shift with more turn, we can get more extension, and we can get the pressure going under that lead side early enough, we should be able to squeeze you a few more yards out from the tee. Right, let's have a go. Might not be the prettiest golf swing and the most controlled golf swing, but should help me advance it a good distance down this par 5. Okay, and that's a tiny bit right of where I was wanting to go, but I should be in the right rough, and that's why this was a good option on that hole, because I've not hit the fairway, but I've advanced it enough down there that I can probably get a short to mid iron onto the screen on the par 5 and gives me a great chance of making a birdie. Might even have an eagle putt. So if you're looking to add some yards to your tee shots, make sure you do it on holes like this where there's a little bit of room and you're not going to get penalised too much if you do miss the fairway. But try those 3 little points. And let me know in the comments box, did that give you some extra yards? Did it help you score better, or did it just give you some bragging rights over your 4 ball? Sometimes it's just good fun to hit the ball a little bit further off the tee and it makes you feel pretty good, so no problem if that helps you there. Right, thank you very much for watching. Usual stuff is below, comments box, like button, over here, my logo, click that. That will allow you to be a free subscriber of the channel, and it just means that you won't miss any of the upcoming content. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you back here again soon.